Hey, good evening, folks. I want to take a few minutes and talk to you tonight about this situation at the border with these children. I'm convinced with what little bit of knowledge that I have in traveling overseas and working with children and working with parents that I believe that a lot of people in this country do not understand the problem that is taking place. When you have a culture where the value of life is limited, where they don't look at life like we do here in America. Let me see if I can qualify myself a little bit. I've been in 13 different countries. I've worked in 13 different countries. I've worked in a lot of the third world countries, and I have seen things that would blow your mind. In Cambodia, we were in a village. It was called an HIV village. There was nothing but children that were there that were had HIV. When I began to talk to those children, uh, we asked them what they wanted, what they needed. They did not ask for food. They did not ask for money. They asked for medical treatment. Now, most of these children were being taken care of by grandparents because the parents already were sick and had HIV, and most of them had died. While we were there, we saw how they had to take care of themselves. If you go into the Philippines, if you go into Vietnam, if you go into Cambodia, if you go into anyone, Indonesia, of the Guatemala, you go to Brazil, Haiti, even Cuba. Anywhere you go, you will find that the children are not taken care of like we take care of children here in America. Most of the children have to fend for themselves. And one of the things that you'll see, they're begging, they're constantly begging, coming up, and all of them are always begging. In Guatemala, we work with the children, and they're so precious, folks. I mean, you won't love them. We went last year into a dental team into Guatemala, and the dental team that was with us, they worked on 200, I think 236, mostly children, and put over 500 teeth because the teeth of the children weren't taken care of. This is Guatemala. This is right next to Mexico. This is the problem is that the culture there is so much different. And when you watch these people that are coming to America, and they're precious, they're precious. They bring with them their culture. For instance, if you went down to the border and you looked inside of where those children were staying at, you would say that is terrible under our conditions. Let me tell you something. Under their conditions, it's wonderful. It's beautiful because they don't even know where they're going to sleep. I was in the airport. This was about 2 years ago. We were in the Philippines, and we were waiting to catch a flight. And as we began to catch the flight, there was a little Filipino gal there that was sitting next to an American guy. And this American guy was talking to her like you would not believe, terrible. I mean, just really laying it out to her. I mean, just giving her a hard time. Really. I mean, the nasty language, the whole works. And he got out to go to the bathroom, and I looked over at her. She spoke English, of course. And I said, why are you taking that? Why are you allowing him to do that to you? And she looked at me and she said, listen, he's going to put a roof over my head that I've never had. I don't care what he does to me, as long as I have a roof over my head and food in my mouth. Now, folks, I want to tell you something. That's what you're dealing with down here at the border. You're dealing with people who are trying to exist. And they're coming here because they can't live in their own country. They can't even take care of themselves because they don't have the food, they don't have the clothing, they don't have anything. These people congregate. There's millions of them. You go into Manila, there's millions. When you go into Bacala, you go into all these different places. Indonesia, going to Jakarta, going to Bandung, going to all these different places. There's millions. My wife and I were in Indonesia. When we pulled up to a stoplight, and there was thousands of kids that came out from underneath the bridges, little kids, begging, wanting food and wanting things. These are the folks that are coming to the border. These folks are hungry, and that's why they're there. Now, the thing about it is that with them, along comes everything else. Here's the interesting thing. When we were in Vietnam, one little guy came up to me, she's trying to sell me something. And as she began to try to sell me something, my wife said to her, we don't want it. She said, oh, please buy it, because if you don't buy it, my boss is going to hit me and he's going to beat me. Friends, let me tell you something. It's a different world there. And that world is coming here. And if we don't vet these individuals, these children do grow into adults. Now, I'm a doctor. I don't know a whole lot except for what I've seen in the many places that I've ministered in. And all I can tell you is this, is that these children grow up just like our children grow up. And a child's growing up here where they really get the knowledge of things, understand things, is from 2 years old to 8 years old. And let me tell you something, they have to survive. If they have to just steal to get whatever it is between those ages, as the time they get older, they're constantly doing that. Folks, we do all we can as missionaries to help feed them, even to help help them, to teach them, to give them language, to do all that we can for them. Even with all of that, the obstacles that we have to face is because the culture that is there doesn't change. The culture doesn't change. And the American people here in this country do not understand that. Here's exactly what happens. Now, for instance, if Donald Trump was to sign off on this bill that supposedly he passed for to check these kids out, he was signing off and say, okay, we're not going to do that. And 3 weeks from now, something major happened down there on the border. Your Democrats would be right out there, and all the liberals would be right up there on the street again, yelling and screaming, saying, he did it, he did it, he did it. No matter what this man does, I don't think no matter what he does, someone's going to be against it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've never saw a group of people be so much against one individual person. And most of them don't even know. They're only going by what they hear from the media. It's a shame. It's a real shame that as a nation, especially as a Christian nation, especially as a nation that is supposed to love God, we have to be this way and see all this. You've got such wicked people up in Washington. I mean, they are wicked. That is politically biased all the way. If you listen to the reports, you can see the biasness there. If you and I, as common people, would do some of the things that some of these politicians have done, some of these people in the FBI would be so far behind bars they wouldn't even be able to find us. I'm telling you, folks, we as American people have to do some things. Number one, let me tell you what I think that we need to do. We cannot change the culture we go to. We cannot change those that are coming from other cultures. We can't do that. They have to want to change themselves. And one of the things we need to do in this country is we need to hold to the culture of this country. I'm not talking about black and white, yellow, green. I'm talking about the culture. The culture of this country was in God we trust. In God we trust. We trust God to build this nation. We trust God to supply. We trust God to do these things. In the last 10 or 12 years, God has totally been removed. Even in prayers and even in slogans, and even it has been taken away. The Democratic Party in 2000, I think it was the last one that they ran in, they even wanted to take God out of it. Do you remember? I'm telling you, folks, it's an attack. This whole thing is an attack on God. It's an attack on Jesus Christ. It's the devil's tool to destroy this nation. And by chance, God has put a man in office, and I don't know all of his spiritual condition, but I think I know a little bit about what his character is. He knows enough to be able to handle what is coming down the pike. He's got stability. He's got enough strength to be able to stand against the opposition. That reminds me of David. You know, all the obstacles were against David in the Bible. Everybody was against. Saul was out to kill him. He didn't have anybody that liked him except for that small band of people. And Jonathan. Every time he tried, his children even turned on him. I mean, when you go through the Word of God, you look at Paul, you look at the disciples. Jesus made it very clear. He said, if they hate me, they're going to hate you. But we're in maybe the last days. I believe what we're seeing is this demonic force that's moving as fast as it can, and it's the greatest attack it can make is on America. Because when you look around the world, and you go around the world, America is the only real free nation. It's the only place that freedom is really free. And that freedom is slowly being dissipated because of the laws, because of some of the things that's being passed up in Washington, D.C. Some of the freedoms we held as individuals are leaving us. They're going away. Why? Because legislators are pushing them out. God, the church, welcoming churches, I mean a lot of churches. And let me tell you something. I see in the church is hurting because the people are hurting. That's the church. The people are walking around. They don't know what to think because they hear the media coming down. They hear the attacks constantly. They can't even speak to some of their family members for fear that they won't like them anymore. By the way, that's the reason why Trump got voted in as president. People finally just shut up and said, I'm not going to say anything about anything because I don't want to cause problems with my family and I don't want to cause problems with other individuals. And then everybody thought that Hillary was going to win. I knew the night of the election that she was not going to win. I knew on my side what was coming through to me from individual people. I knew that the American people were fed up. And I think they're fed up now. I think as they watch this on television, they watch all these things, I think they're tired of it. And the problem is they don't know what side to stand on. Now listen to me. And I'm being honest with you with all my heart. I mean, I've been serving in the ministry for 45 years, my wife and I. I'm 73 years old. I'm still ready to go back to the Philippines in November. Listen, friends, I'm trying to tell you the truth. I see those children overseas, and my heart breaks for them. It literally breaks as I watch them, as I see what they need. But at the same time, I see what their culture is producing. I see that their culture is producing this. And that's the problem. The culture is doing it. My little dog is barking. You can hear him in the background up there. The culture is because the people don't have. There are no laws to control them. The children run free in the streets. The children go where they want. They're out all night long running up and down the streets. Little kids. I'm not talking about teenagers, folks. I'm talking about kids that are anywhere between 5 and 8, 9, 10 years old, sleeping on the sidewalk, sleeping up underneath cots, sleeping somewhere, wherever they can find a place to lay their head. This is very real. And here they come here to America. And what do? We try to take care of it. And if you watch some of the things on there, you can see that we're giving them blankets, we're giving them food, we're giving them shoes, we're giving them, sure, it may be just a mattress on the floor, but they have never even had a mattress. When I was in the Philippines, I went into many of the villages and watched many people sleeping on bamboo. They didn't have a mattress. We have mattresses here in this country. Folks, you have to understand that these people come and they're happy just to be able to go get a hamburger or someone fix a hamburger for them. And I mean, they're okay. They're not used to their parents or hanging on to their parents. Maybe your little babies, when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, they cry out and say, "Mama, mama, mama." But by the time these kids, I know, we were in Guatemala. I watched 4 or 5 years old fight their parents. I watched one little boy try to whip on his mother. Listen, they are rebellious because that's all they have. They have to survive. While in Haiti, we took candy over for a vacation Bible school. And we had a whole bunch of candy. And we were to hand the candy out. Now listen to me, friends. These children were ripping the candy out of our hands and were making sure they got all they could get so nobody else could get anything else. That's what you're doing. Here in America, we really don't have that kind of culture. I mean, there may be some in some areas, and we do have some wickedness in this country. Look at MS-13. Folks, I want to tell you something. That is a wicked bunch of people. And they're coming from Guatemala, and they're coming from over in these countries to come here. Mexico. I was in Guatemala City. This was 2 years ago. I got invited to go to the 28th Street Gang in Guatemala City. And I went down and was able to talk with them and share my testimony. We had an opportunity to meet some of the gang members. Folks, they're survivalists. They're survivalists. These folks that are coming to America are survivalists. Let me say something else to you, which I think is important. I live here in Florida. They're building houses. I walked around this afternoon and checked all the houses that they're building. 95% of the people that were working on the houses were Mexicans, Guatemalans, somebody from another country. It's unreal. They're doing the work that we've been doing. They're willing to do the work. I go down to the VA hospital system. It used to be that you would find good American doctors in there. You don't find any American doctors much in the VA system anymore. A few know that. Most of them are from India or they're from some foreign country, and they know nothing of our culture. See, the whole thing boils down is we're changing. What's happening is the culture that's coming to this country. And that's what happened in the book of Ezra. That's what happened when it had to be dealt with. Ezra dealt with it. He dealt with the Israelites marrying in and getting into all the different cultures. And before long, there was no Israeli culture. And here in America, if we're not careful, and I'm not prejudiced, folks, please, but if we're not careful, what we have been and what we've always wanted to be and what we should be is dissipating because we have such a caring nature for everybody else that we're going to lose our own identity and who we really are. And a lot of this started many years ago. Obama was the threshold. And let me tell you a little story about while I was in Russia. And this was during the time that Obama made a statement that we are no longer a Christian nation. I was standing with some Christians, and one man walked over to me and said to me, "I just heard something." And I said, "What was that?" He said, "I just heard that America is no longer a Christian nation." And I said, "Where'd you hear that at?" He said, "Your president said that." I looked at him, I said, "No, we're still a Christian nation." He said, "You know, as Russian Christians," he said, "we always look across that big pond, hoping one day that our freedom will be as free as your freedom. You know what's happening?" He said, "I believe we're going to lose that mission because you're going to become just like us. You're going to be just like us." Friends, we are ripe for all kinds of things. All you got to do is look at some of those individuals up in Washington. Look at Elijah Cummings. Nice guy, but he's wicked. That man is so wicked and so vile, it's unreal. Look at Nancy Pelosi. That woman is wicked. She's really, really wicked. These people need to be voted out of office. These people need to be gone. Schumer is another one. Man can cry and share tears like he cares, but he doesn't care about anybody but himself and fill his own pockets. I'm telling you, folks, you got to be able to see what's going on. You got to open your eyes. Maybe I see things that I shouldn't see. Maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion, but I don't think I am. I think I've seen a lot in my life, and I fought for my country. I mean, I've seen a lot, and I'm telling you something. Unless we wake up as Americans, as Christians, as believers, you know, the Lord loves us. I'm glad I'm a Christian. I'm glad I'm saved. Because I don't think if I wasn't saved, I would probably do some foolish stuff. I'd probably do some stupid stuff. But I thank God that I'm saved. I thank God that I can see things, I hope, through the eyes of God. God loves every one of those children. God cares about them. But let me ask you a question. When you look at our streets, and you look at some of the things that's taking place in our schools, you look at the kids that are being killed, do you think those other children care anything about kids? You think that young man that went and shot up that school and killed those kids, you think he cared about anything? No. Listen, just imagine taking that one young man who has no real value, no real understanding, no real love for anybody, and just duplicated and duplicated and put it times 10,000 because of hunger, thirst, because I care. That's what's happening. If we don't vet what's coming in this country, if we don't check it out and really check it out, we're in trouble. And why is it? Why is all this happening? I'm going to tell you why it's happening. And you may not like what I'm about to say, but I believe it's the truth. I really do. You see, the Democrats want all these foreign folks to come in because they want to convert them to Democrats. Because they can convert the population of Democrats, then the Democrats can control the elections all the way around this country. And that means that everything that they want to do, all their liberal viewpoints, everything that they do, will take over this country. This country is so close to being a Sodom and Gomorrah as it is, in so many ways. And when you start to think about what can happen when all that happens, see, these folks that are coming, they just want somebody to care for them. And they'll do anything as long as you care for them. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Just as they abuse those Mexicans and Guatemalans and Haitians and all the rest of coming here, they'll abuse anybody else. I've seen it all my life. I've seen it from growing up. I thank God that a lot of the African American community is beginning to open its eyes and realize that the Democrats were just using them. Just using them. That's what they were doing. They tried to keep them poor. They tried to do all those things. Thank God that President Trump has really done something for the community. Opened up jobs and made available the lowest unemployment that we've seen in the African American community in years, if I like it. Folks, I want to tell you something. There's work everywhere. There's no need for anybody to have to go out and beg in this country. There's a job everywhere. Why aren't people grabbing the jobs? Those that are coming in because they want a job. Let me give you one more point that I think is important. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill." Over the last many, many, many years, going all the way back to the 60s, abortion became a big thing in this country. And we have, listen to this, in the last 12 years, I put this on my site, in the last 12 years, killed over 12 million babies. 12 million babies here in the United States of America. Now, we have 12 million illegal immigrants. That's what they're estimating in this country. And I think all those babies that were killed would be in our workforce, beginning to come up through that workforce. I'm not even going back to the 60s yet. I'm just going in the last 12 years. You think about it. God is sending others here to fill the workforce because they don't have it. And those people are coming. And we need them, whether you like it or not, because there's so many jobs out there. The thing is we have to vet them. We have to instruct them and help them to understand that we can't change their culture, but they have to also blend into ours. They have to realize that we have a culture that's much different than theirs. It's a caring culture. We are humane, and we care about others. We don't want people being killed in the streets. We don't want people dying because of guns. We don't want that to happen. We want people to live a good life. That's exactly what the Bible talks about. That's why Jesus came. He came and died on the cross for sinners, which are a chief sinner. He came because he loves us. You know, I speak all around in churches, and one of the things that I try to bring out to people today is that God's love is so real. He can get us beyond these things. Well, we can become bitter. We can become angry. We can walk around, and even our own family wants very little to do with us because we're so angry at what's taking place in the world. Folks, I'm just a preacher, just an old-fashioned preacher. No big shot, no nothing, just a preacher. But I love God, and I love people. And I hear about children. That's why my wife and I do what we do, is because that's what God's called us to do. Would you really, really start looking into these circumstances? Instead of following everybody, judge. Take what knowledge that you have that God has shown you through His Word. Take what knowledge you have that you've grown up with and look at it and say, wow, you will see differently. don't stand with this group or that group. I stand with who's right. I don't stand because it's a party. I stand because it's what's right. What is right and what's best for this country, what's best for God, and how we can honor God. I'm thankful the first time we're seeing that there are some privileges now that have come back that we lost during the Obama years. I'm saying now that we're able to use Jesus' name when we speak at different places. Before, we had to be careful. For almost a little over 8 years, people went to themselves, kind of hid, afraid to come out, fearful of what someone might say, fearful of what someone might do, fearful about how people would react. Kind of reminds me when I came home from Vietnam. When I came home from Vietnam, I had been in this country for several years, and this country changed. This country had changed. I was told when I came home not to wear my uniform, but I was proud. In 1966, I was proud. When I got off that airplane in Miami International Airport, I was a proud young man. I was just 21 years old. When I got off, a woman walked over to me and she called me a baby killer and spit in my face. As I looked down the hallway there in the airport, they were burning their draft cards and burning the flag of the United States. The United States had changed. In a little over 3.5 years, the United States had changed. Big time. Why? Because the culture changed. Because people looked at things differently. That was a political war. That was politicians doing it, friends. It was all politicians doing it. And the thing about it is, in all reality, is that's exactly what's happening today. Are we going to let the political sources up in Washington, D.C. destroy us and destroy our communication, destroy our relationship with God, destroy humanity? Because let me tell you something. For the political agenda that is there, they don't care about you. Now, there are some that do. Really. But I want to tell you one thing, because the vast majority, the only thing they care about is themselves and their party and what they want to fulfill. It's terrible, folks. We need to really do something. And the elections are coming up here in November. And I hope, and I do pray, that you will look at a person and judge them by their character, not by the color of their skin, or by who they are, or how much money they have, but by their character. Because it's character that's going to build this country. It's character, nothing else. Martin Luther King said that, and it's a very true statement. I hope tonight, maybe I've rustled your feathers a little bit. I sometimes know you do that. I preach all around the country. Some preachers say, brother, you got to rustle up tonight. You got to going. Well, the truth sets you free, and God loves you, friends. And if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, I hope tonight that you'll ask Him to come into your heart and you will be born into the family of God. I pray that you will. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And God bless all of you. This is Dave Smeltz, Missionary Evangelist, signing off. God bless you.